After I copied the question and annotated the keywords least to greatest, I am thinking about a strategy that I can use to help me order these negative numbers. A strategy that we learned in lesson 2 and lesson 3 is a number line. So I am going to go ahead and draw a number line. A number line can help our brain order the numbers because we are able to see their place in relation to 0. Because all these numbers are negative, they will all be to the left of 0. The number line doesn't have to be very detailed. So to help me get started, I can start with -1. And I can write -5. And my first number in my list is -10. If I start at 0, I know that -10 is further to the left than -1. If I continue, I know it's going to be further to the left than -5. It will be around here. So I am going to write -10 and plot it. My second number is -7. Again, I'm going to start at 0. And I know that -7 is going to be further to the left than -1. I keep going, and it's going to be further to the left than -5. However, I know it's not going to be further to the left than -10. It will be somewhere in between -5 and -10. So I am going to write a little tick mark here, write -7, and plot it. My next number is -2.5. I start at 0, and I know that -2.5 will be further to the left than -1. But it will be to the right of -5. -2.5 will be in between -1 and -5. So I can write my tick mark here and write -2.5. My next number is -1. -1 I happen to have on my number line already. My last number is a fraction. I can think of this fraction as 1/4. And 1/4 out of 4, I know is 25 cents. And I can rewrite this fraction as 0.25. However, because this is a -1/4, I need to write -0.25. So when I'm looking at my number line, I know that I start at 0, and -0.25 will be right before I reach -1. So I am going to plot my point right here, -0.25. I know it's going to be -0.25, -0.50, -0.75, and then I'll hit -1. Now that I have all my points on the number line, it will help me order them from least to greatest. With negative numbers, I know that the further to the left, the farther away from 0, the less the value. So right now, my smallest number is -10. So that's going to be my first number that I write in my list. A helpful hint to make sure that you have written all your numbers is once you put them down on your list, you cross it out. My next number is -7, and I'm going to cross it out. My next number here on the number line was -5, but if you notice, -5 is not part of the list. It was just a number that I had put on my number line to help me plot the others. So I am not going to write -5 My next number is negative 2.5. So I'm going to go ahead and write negative 2.5 and cross it out. My next number is negative 1. I'm going to go ahead and cross it out and write it. And my last number is negative 0.25. This number, I wrote it as a decimal on my number line, but it's very important to keep it in the original form. I have to write it as a fraction on my list. So I need to write negative 1/4. So my numbers from least to greatest are like this. Least to greatest.